I can hear it. That clock is ticking. It's after 11 o'clock. And that means it is time for your favorite show and mine, Countdown to Armageddon. And I am your host, Publius, bringing you the latest and the greatest in whatever happens to cross my mind. And today I'm going to go back to an age-old topic, one that I've covered before. But apparently not enough of you have been watching my show to get the news out to some of these thick-headed imbeciles out there. And that is the subject of rights. What is a right? Do I have a right to come into your home and tell you what to drink? As your guest, let's say you invite me into your house. I come over and you are serving Johnny Walker Red. And I tell you, no, that's not what I want. I want Jack Daniels. Do I have a right to tell you this and make you get Jack Daniels instead? No! I'm in your house. I want JD. I need to go buy it. And on the subject of buying things, do I have a right to walk into the store and say, hey, I need that. Give it to me. No. I have a right to buy it if I have the money. And what I'm boiling down to, folks, is the definition of a right. What is a right? A right is something you have in and of yourself. No one has to give you anything for you to have a right. Let me give you an example. The right to speech. Freedom of speech. It's a right in the United States. I have a right to say whatever I damn well please. Now, are there limits to this right? Yes, there are. I may want to sit there in a movie theater and yell out the word fire. Guess what? I will get arrested. Not for, freedom of speech violation, but because I have incited a riot or caused a danger. Your words do matter, but I have a right to turn to a cop and say, you're a scumbag. And that cop cannot legally arrest me for saying he's a scumbag. Now, the Supreme Court has gone even further and said that if I want to say F the cops or F you to a specific cop, that is First Amendment protected. It is a right. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not telling you you have to do anything so that I can say that. All I'm saying is that you can't stop me. And as long as you don't stop me, it's something that I can do all on my own. It's a right. So let's look at some of these new rights. The right to share someone's dorm room. Well, I think I should have the right to share a hot chick's dorm room. Why? Because I believe this is what's appropriate. Now, this hot chick does not think so. She says she has a right to privacy. Well, my belief trumps her belief. Why? Because I happen to be of a select group. And that group wins. No, 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 no. Don't claim it as a right, because it has nothing to do with rights. If you need somebody else to do something for you in order for you to have something, then it's not a right. Examples. The right to health care. You cannot have a right to health care. That's a right to slavery. You can have a right to health insurance. Then all anybody has to do is provide you insurance. Nope, guess you can't have a right to health insurance either. You have a right to have access to that health insurance, meaning that they should not keep you from being able to protect yourself and get the insurance. But they don't have a right to give it to you. No one has to give you shit. If you're thinking the world owes you, you're wrong. The world don't owe you crap. Your right to swing your fist stops when it starts to impact my face. That's an old thought. We all knew it when I was a kid. We all understood that there were limits, that your rights stopped at a certain point. That point usually entailed when your rights started interfering with other people's rights. I have a right to listen to my music as loud as I want until my music starts bothering my neighbor. Then I have violated his rights. I have interfered with him enjoying his peace and solitude. Now, if he can't hear my music at his house, then he has nothing to say. He can't say that my music offends him because he doesn't like the band, because he isn't listening to it. He can't say, well, you have to play it only at a certain level, because if he can't hear it, he don't know. Rights require an understanding of what's being involved. Who has to provide what? And if somebody has to provide you something for you to have this, then it's not a right. Let's take a look at some of the famous rights. The right to life. I am alive. All I need from you to be alive is to be left the fuck alone. If I am left alone, then I will be alive. So how do you impact this right? You limit my right to life by basically killing me. So since I needed nothing from you but to be left alone, the right to life is indeed a right. Liberty. I don't need you to do anything for me to have liberty. I need you to leave me alone. If you are not holding me against my will, then I have liberty. Freedom of speech. I have the right to say whatever I please, within certain limitations. Do I need anything from you? No, I need to be left alone. And if you look at it, all of our rights require that other people just leave you alone. They don't require them to do anything. I have a right to speak, freedom of speech. I can say whatever I please. You don't have to listen to me. You can get up and walk away. I have a right to make whatever type of television show I please. Yes. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to go to my movie. You don't have to buy my book. You don't have to like my music. All you have to do is leave me alone. You cannot stop me from having my own music, from writing my book, from telling my story, from making my movie, for doing any of these things without violating my rights. But you don't have to buy it. This is the problem with the idea of the right to health care. A right to health care means that someone else has to provide for you. They're not just saying leave you alone. You're saying this person must give services. Now, we see Biden has no concept of rights. He thinks nobody should have any rights, but everybody should, only certain people should even have privileges. This is seen by his fact that he believes certain people's beliefs are less important than others. A very small minority in this country should be allowed to have their beliefs override and supersede any of your beliefs. And those beliefs require you to give them something or do something for them. Obviously, they're violating your rights. The idea that just because you think you're a woman, even though your biology says you are male, does not give you the right to share a bathroom with someone. Doesn't give you a right to go into a shower with other people that are women. They are biologically women. Your belief doesn't grant you this idea, because it's not a right. I don't have a right to go into somebody else's bathroom. That's their bathroom. If they say this bathroom is open to people of a specific sex, and I'm not that sex, well, then I don't have a right to use that bathroom. Why? Because I'm not that sex. If I'm requiring them to let me in, then I'm violating their ownership and their rights to run their property as they see it. And again, I am violating their rights to do so. You do not have a right to somebody else's property. You do not have a right to tell somebody else what to do on their property. The only way you could possibly tell somebody what to do on their property is if what they're doing is harmful to you off their property. Does this mean a bigot can keep people from using their property? Yes. Does it mean that a racist can tell people that are a different race that they can't come there? Yes, it does. Because sometimes rights aren't sweet. All they need you to do is leave them alone. And if it's their property, it's none of your business. But once again, in the United States, rights now mean whatever the people in power think it should be. And at the moment, they're going out of their way to bend over backwards and grant rights to people that nobody has a right to. They're telling Christians, your beliefs don't matter. Even though the First Amendment says they have a right to their own religion and the right to practice their religion. We're saying you need to give up your beliefs so this person over here's belief can apply in your school. No, that's not how it works. There's no aspect to being left alone here. There's totally making one group conform to another's. This is not a right. This is not a privilege. This is just totalitarian. This is a dictatorship. And that the federal government is ordering it definitely makes it a dictatorship. You're telling private companies how they need to behave, even when it violates their beliefs. No one has that right. Not the government, not you, not me. And part of it is because we don't understand rights. I mean, how much more clearly can I say it? A right is something that is of you and by you, that you need nothing from anyone else to have. If you need something from somebody else, then it's no longer a right. If I need you to give me an apple, then I didn't have a right to that apple in the first place. Now, if I buy that apple, I have assumed the right of ownership. It's my property. I can do with it as I please. If I want to take it and throw it in the gutter, it's my property. I mean, a lot of times whenever I look at say, a flag burning episode, my first thought that comes to my mind is, who paid for the flag? Well, if he bought the flag, he can burn it. It doesn't matter what flag it is. But not in this country. In this country, it's okay to burn the American flag if you paid for it, but not to burn the rainbow flag, because that's a hate crime. Now, you tell me how that makes any damn sense. And when you're looking at the subject of rights, you need to look at universality. Excuse me. My throat just got very dry. Give me a second. Sorry about that. What do I mean by universality? If I have a right to burn whatever flag I own, then you have a right to burn whatever flag you own. If you say that I can burn any flag I own except this one particular flag, because it represents the LGBT community, then a flag that represents, say, an all-white community should have the same protections as that LGBT flag. It has to be universal. It has to apply to everything in that class. You can't have one set of rules for everything but this. If the American flag can be torched, So can the LGBT flag. It's called freedom of speech. And the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that burning the U.S. flag is legal, as long as you own it. If you bought the flag, you can burn it. You can't steal somebody's flag and burn it. I don't care what flag it is. Because it ain't your flag. You're stealing their property. So, you need to look at these things and start realizing we're not pushing rights. We're pushing privileges. And what they're doing, privileges generally come at somebody else's expense. And who's having to pay? Well, the biggest groups of people that are paying for the LGBT rights right now are women and religious people. Now, I am waiting to see when the first time they go after a mosque. Oh, I am so looking forward to see how they deal with that. Because our Muslim brothers and sisters are not going to sit back and go, it's okay. These people believe that it's right to stone gay people. They need to die. So, I'm looking forward to that. You want to stand up for your LGBT rights? Go right ahead. But make sure it's a right. You do not have a right to that cake regardless. If that man doesn't want to sell you the cake or that woman doesn't want to sell you the cake, guess what? It ain't yours. But if you want to push this, show me how fair you can be. Push it in a Muslim bakery. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you don't have the guts to go after a Muslim bakery, then you don't have the moral fortitude that you should be going after a Christian bakery. You know you're only going to attack the Christian because you can get away with it. You don't dare do it to a Muslim because he may kill you. Some of their protesters definitely will kill you. So, once again, I don't know how much clearer I can make this. If you're not getting this concept, please send me an email. I will try to help you understand the difference between a right and a privilege. And you don't have a right to tell me what to do with myself, my body, my home. And you definitely don't have the right to tell me who I have to take a shower with. Okay. I know it's kind of redundant for some of you, but apparently this world just don't get it. You can't change things. You can't change reality just because you don't like it. It takes time to change reality to where you're actually changing what is. But I don't care how hard you try, you're not going to make a table anything but a table. And A will always be A. So, this is Publius on your countdown to Armageddon. I'm hoping you're slowly getting the idea of a difference between a right and a privilege. I hope you do, because the sooner you do, you can stop screaming for things that ain't right. And we would all be a lot happier if this happened. This is your countdown to Armageddon. Hope you all have a great evening, and I'll see you next time. Y'all have a good night.